not done that's made him so much better this year?
Well, he hasn't been until the last few weeks. The last few. I think he kind of rededicated himself to the game after the Kansas State game. He wasn't very good Kansas State game. He wasn't very good Oklahoma game. Got in the gym. I know you guys get tired of me saying that, but he got in the gym. He was in the gym last night at 9 o'clock after being in early before practice and staying after practice. That's kind of what it takes.
Bob, you didn't create a lot of turnovers, but you didn't turn the ball over much yourself. Was that a huge key?
Yeah, I thought our shot selection was really good. We didn't force things, and they heard it enough. They heard enough about what our problems were. But I don't know why you have to go through what we've gone through the last week or so for it to sink in. I told him in April, we can't turn the ball over and we got to make free throws. And we did both of those things today, and we play pretty well when we don't do that.
What was the key to winning this game, in your opinion?
Not turning the ball over and making free throws. We don't turn it over. We turn it over 23 times in Manhattan. That's 15 less possessions than what you get when you turn over 8 times. That's a lot of possessions.
To the madness, you got a slumping player, a kid that hasn't been able to make shots or do anything right, and you run the first play of the game for him, and that to try to get him off right there.
He had 2 good days of practice. And he's our best guy at attacking the rim. He's got more size. He's wider. He's got those huge hands that I thought he was our best chance. So they're so long. The other option is do it for Dax, and Dax is so much smaller. It wasn't the kinder, gentler approach. In case you were wondering, it really wasn't the kinder, gentler approach.
Points in the paint, offensive rebounds, the way you guys were able to attack them on the inside, surprise you at all, or was that pretty much what you guys wanted to try to do?
That's exactly what we wanted to do. We went back and looked at the 3 games of a year ago, and we looked at, obviously what they had done this year, and you try to figure out where our best chance is to be able to score. But honestly, Justin, the biggest thing is we passed the ball. What do we have? 29 field goals, 22 assists on 29 field goals. That's pretty good. That's pretty good for anybody playing basketball any level. And we passed the ball. We did a better job passing the ball. We did a terrible job of passing the ball before.
What was your impression of Josh Jackson for game?
If he could jump, he'd be really good. He's a great athlete. Those are the guys that play 100 games for about 10 or 12 years, 100 games a year. He's what an athlete, great athlete.
You say that, but key rebound in the game was probably the one Adrian got away from him on an offensive rebound. And that was not his rebound.
And Nate's got a lot of want to. He actually sprained his ankle on that play, and still chased the ball down in the corner and kept a possession for us. I don't know. I was trying to get him back in the game at the end because we were awful small and they were missing free throws, and I needed him at the free throw line. He said, I'm good. I can rebound it. I can't slide though. I can't push off of my ankle. So, and then I think I noticed that he just blocked his guy out, and JC came in from the other position and rebounded it. But he held his guy off and didn't let him get to the ball. He's been our heart and soul. Him and JC have been our heart and soul. They're our 2 most consistent guys.
You guys have 3 wins now against top 5 teams, and the 3 losses are unranked teams. And just both ends of the spectrum right there. I don't know if I've ever really seen a team that's kind of gone through a situation like that.
Yeah, we're about 4 possessions away from maybe being undefeated. So you can look at it a lot of ways. I mean, you're always the half-empty guy, which, you know, I really have a hard time with guys like that because I'm certainly not that way.
Coach Self said that 29 threes was probably a little too much, even given the way that you play, and that even though those were open shots, maybe there were a few too many. Was that a goal coming in? One of the other things to try to keep them from driving at the basket so much?
No, the goal was keep them out of transition. They're terrific in transition. Mason and Graham are so fast with the ball, and they finish so well around the rim, and I think their strength really is their transition, and we just tried to not turn them loose much.
Bob, probably didn't try to do a whole lot with the press tonight, but your half-court defense seemed much improved, last half full, but also significant. I mean, because that's the way you had to play tonight. You don't want to, like you said, turn them loose in the press.
No, we turned them loose too much a year ago, and so we want to keep them in front of us. It's a lot harder to score 5-on-5 than it is when you got numbers. And you know, the way the game's being called is not real conducive to pressing, to be honest with you.
Bob, AP's doing a story on Big 12 SEC game this weekend. Your thoughts on having to play an out-of-conference game in the middle of your conference schedule?
Well, I don't think any of the coaches wanted to do it, really. We got talked into it. You know, the thought was it would get more media coverage at this time of year than what we had it before the conference season started. You know, I think maybe a game like that gets people thinking a little bit more about basketball early than maybe playing somebody else. So, but that was the whole deal. It was certainly ESPN driven. Wasn't the coaches.
Coach, a lot fewer turnovers and much better from the free throw line tonight. Safe to say that their focus was better, and did you see that in practice this week?
After we had a continual parade to the treadmill, yeah, it was better. You know, a lot of it is concentration. A lot of it is taking shortcuts. I got upset with Dax today because he took a shortcut and we couldn't get into offense. And you know, if you're tired, come sit down, man. Don't do that out there. So I think it's a matter of execution, but execution is not taking shortcuts, not taking the easy way.
Coach, Elijah got in the early foul trouble and then obviously has to sit for a long period of stretch. But then comes back and plays a pretty good second half for you. So what does that say for a kid who basically got to sit and watch the whole first half and then comes out and gives you some plays and stuff?
Well, he said, "Do you want me?" You know, when Sykes got tired, I think, and Brandon was struggling a little bit, and I said, "Man, I got to have you the second half." And the great thing about these guys is they, by and large, they're all in. I mean, we have our moments certainly, but I mean they're all in, and we got a senior, a junior, and a freshman, and they're all sharing minutes, and they do it gladly. They help each other. What Brandon and Elijah have done to help Sags. I mean, they're constantly coaching them, and it's good to see. That's really what athletics is supposed to be about. The camaraderie and the hard work and the sharing and giving and all those good things.
Coach, how was Josh Dunn filling in for Ron?
Josh's been great. Josh is a very bright guy, and he's a very hardworking guy. And he's done film for me for, is this my 10th year? Well, he did it 1 year at Kansas State. So this is his 11th year, so he knows what's going on. I mean, I think that's a great way, to learn a game, is sit in there and cut up all that film. Because you're seeing everybody's offense, you're seeing everybody's defense, you're seeing how everybody goes about things. So, I mean, we miss Ronnie. I mean, the experience that Ronnie has, we miss Ronnie, but Josh has filled in more than admirably. Josh is going to be a heck of a coach, or he is a heck of a coach.
Anything else?
You've spoken highly about Landon Lucas. How important was it getting him in foul trouble and neutralizing him today?
I think he's terrific. I mean, I think he's so unselfish, and he really steps up when they need somebody to step up, and in whatever area it is that they need him to do. So I've got a lot of admiration for him.
Thanks, Coach.
Did you at any time try to sell this game to your team as a desperation game with a must-win situation?
No. I mean, we're top 25 in the country, and that hasn't happened here a whole bunch. Let's be honest. That hasn't happened here a whole bunch. Being in the top 10 in the country hasn't happened here hardly at all. Take away the early 60s or the 50s and 60s. I mean, we're like, I think everybody who follows us and knows anything about basketball knows I don't know what we are, 5 or 6 possessions away from, maybe not losing or losing one. So it wasn't that at all. I think Bob, and I thought about that, but then you think, we got Texas A&M coming up on Saturday, and they're really good, and then we go to the hardest place, maybe outside of Lawrence in the league, in Ames. Right after that, and when it's the schedule's not real conducive to us spending a lot of time fixing a lot of stuff either. We're going to take tomorrow off, and they've got to get in and get treated and all that, but we'll go Thursday, Friday, play Saturday at noon, and then we have Sunday, Monday, I believe, to play Tuesday in Ames. It's a lot, and when you travel the way that we travel, it's brutal. I mean, it's absolutely brutal. So I didn't want to make this the season's over with if we don't win this one.